Hey, monopolies versus markets, right? So socialism is kind of a monopoly-driven theory of government, and markets is an economic theory that can be applied to government. Here's the dirty, dirty little secret. So government, by its very nature, because it owns the means to production, the definition for socialism, to everything it does. So Medicare, Medicaid, they're monopolies. They're owned by the government. But so too is the military. So too is the Treasury Department, the FBI, the Patent Office. You know, all these groups, the government owns the means to production. Everything they do is, in essence, kind of a socialist endeavor. Kind of scary. When I tell my Republican friends this, you know, their hair lights on fire. It's kind of like, oh my God, what? But it's true. Education, another example. You know, government from local to federal owns the means to production. But then which is better? A monopoly, socialist style of stuff, or markets, private approach to providing products, let's say. Can you apply it to government? So the answer to that question is yes. So what do markets do that's so different from monopolies? So, and this is crucial. So markets are kind of like science. So when you look at scientists, they go, I got an idea. I'm going to test it. I'm going to collect data. I'm going to publish it. And if it validates what I'm thinking, maybe other people like it. And they'll test it too. So, and that's what markets do. Steve Jobs sitting in his garage in California going, you know, a personal computer might be kind of a cool thing, you know. We need to figure out how to do that. And he gets with Woz and he figures out, you know, how to build something, and, you know, it's pretty cool. He manages to sell his first 50 and he's on the trail. And he's on a trail of not only, hey, here's the product. Nobody would buy the Apple One or the Apple II for that matter today, of continually improving the product, of reducing its price and adding features. And that's what markets do. Monopolies, not so much. Even private monopolies. I mean, most of the time, they're trying to maximize the amount of money they can charge you for whatever it is. Now, it's not always true. Microsoft has a near monopoly, and its price has been coming down for quite a while. Google, you know, although they're much better in terms of price versus old-style marketing and advertising, they're still pretty pricey. Facebook's pretty good, but at the end of the day, they're private companies. They have some competition. It would be nice to see more. That marketplace doesn't have enough competition. But then you go a step further. I used to work for AT&T when they sold phone systems, right? It was a government monopoly mandated by the government, and they were guaranteed a certain amount of profit each year, I think 12% as they grew. So everything was cost plus 12%. And it was a great investment, right? It was a great place to work, but its products were dead as a doornail by the 80s. And with great wisdom, the government broke up the monopoly. And as the internet fed in, you know, our lives changed. You know, our cost of telephony now is, you know, $40 a month for a cell phone or whatever you might pay. But at the end of the day, competition now has taken over that market and drove prices down and features way up. Now, and it's because it's kind of scientific. I'm trying to figure out how to have a better idea, how to put it in production, how to sell it at a price that's even better than my competition with more features. And at the end of the day, that's a winning combination. It's what scientists do. Now, is that what happens with government monopolies? It is not. You know, Social Security is a good example. We're still under the same intergenerational tax system that we had in the 30s. Doesn't work, hasn't worked for, 60 years probably, 70. 32 tax increases has not improved its financial sustainability. It needs reform. But because there's so many old people like me and politicians going, we can't touch that, we'll lose our votes. They can't get it changed. They can't improve it. They can't make it better. They can only make it worse by not doing anything. And it's the same with Medicaid. It's the same with Medicare. It's the same with our education system. It's frozen in place in the 1930s and not doing a 21st century job. Now, can it? It really, really can. And just by doing a few simple things with every single piece of legislation and every single regulation, right? So what's the objective? Just like the science, what am I trying to do here? And is it measurable? If it's not, then we shouldn't be doing it. If it's measurable, I'm going to do X and it's going to prove, I don't know, proficiency in education. It's going to bump it up 30% if we do X. And then we measure, is it working? And we put data out there. And then we publish the data and scorecard it. Well, we didn't get 30% increase. We got 28. Well, that's pretty good. That's still a B plus, right? So we aren't doing those things. If you just apply some of that market and scientific sense to government and its socialist endeavors or socialist types of approaches, right? Great things can happen. I mean, great things can happen. It's just not happening now. So what's better is the socialist approach or the market approach? Well, the market approach is always going to be more efficient. When you apply those principles to the socialist approach, socialism actually works. It's just never been applied. I'm Tom. I'll talk to you soon.